remembering how to burn. I don't reach for what is missing, I don't follow where you went, but your absence moves around me like a quiet accident. There's a space that keeps expanding, even when I stay the same. Every step I take around it still circles back your name. Just the shape you left behind. Door half open in the hallway, shoes still waiting by the wall, coat hanging on the old rack like you never left it all. Your record spinning in the corner, lamp still burning soft and low. I walked it and felt the silence say the things we didn't show. Your key still resting in the doorway, like you plan to walk back through. Strange how little things remember more than people ever do. Key left in the door tonight, like a promise in the air, like the room is still expecting someone standing there. Key left in the door tonight, like the night refused to end. Sometimes empty spaces talk louder than a friend. Coffee cup beside the window, lipstick fading on the rim, street lights sliding through the curtains, painting shadows soft and dim, rose chords drifting from the speaker, bass line humming through the floor. Every corner of this living room remembered you before. I could turn the lock and close it, leave the night outside the frame, but the quiet keeps repeating your unfinished name. Key left in the door tonight, like a promise in the air, like the room is still expecting someone standing there. Key left in the door tonight, like the night refused to end. Sometimes empty spaces talk louder than a friend. Skyline, blue light climbing through the shade. I should close the door behind me, let the memories start to fade, but the hallway keeps the echo of the steps you used to take. Some nights time just sits beside you wide awake. Hands still resting on the corner, like I'm frozen in between. Every goodbye leaves a shadow where a hello used to leave. He left in the door tonight, like a promise in the air, like the room is still expecting someone standing there. He Nothing stays long enough to matter. It just brushes past my skin. Every moment feels like paper, folding where it should have been. A small crack runs across the quiet, like the day was split in two. And the sound of distant movement doesn't tell me what is true. There's a shadow slightly shifting, out of sync with how I stand, like it's learning how to leave me without ever being planned. Something passes through my name, but it doesn't stay the same. I can feel it changing shape right before it slips away. Nothing stays long enough to matter. It just brushes past my skin. Every moment feels like paper, folding where it should have been. A loose reflection in the window tries to hold me for a while, but it bends around the edges like it doesn't match my style. There's a feeling in the pavement, like it remembers every step, but it never tells the story of the ones it hasn't kept. Nothing stays long enough to matter. It just brushes past my skin. Every moment feels like paper, folding where it should have been. It changed its mind halfway, and the silence leans in closer, but still refuses me to stay. I stop asking for a reason, let it pass the way it will, like a breath I never noticed, but somehow I can feel. Something lingers just enough to remind me of the touch, then it fades without a trace, leaving only empty space. Nothing stays long enough to wrap. It just brushes past my skin. Every moment feels like paper, folding where it should have been.
Acabou já. O que fiz hoje já foi.
Some nights the room goes still, but my thoughts begin their drill. Every word I said today returns in a different way. Small mistakes I thought were gone, got there quiet, marching on like a court inside my head, judging things I said. Arguments I replay slow, things I wish I didn't show. Every scene comes back to stand closed at hand in this quiet mind trial. Every thought run miles of us, searching for a perfect line I could not define. Morning comes, but still I hear pieces drifting in my ear. Simple talks from yesterday, finding fault in what I say. Maybe no one else would care, maybe no one noticed there. Still the mind returns again, like a stubborn pen. Every question circles round without making any sound. Little doubts begin to climb out of time. In this quiet mind trial. Every thought runs miles, searching for a perfect line I could not define. Sow away, let the restless thinking sway. Not every thought deserves a seat in that courtroom of defeat. Some ideas pass like rain, some just fade without a name. Peace arrives when I allow less control somehow. Let the restless echoes go, let the quieter answers grow. Not every doubt must stand and demand. This quiet mind trial. Every favorite's mine, searching for a perfect life I could not define. Dust clouds stretching past the grain, one old truck beside the lane, radio sitting on the crate, speaker humming soft and straight. Two men leaning near the door, talking like the day before, when dragging slow through the field, same small view the road revealed. Thin boxcars crossing land, carriage slow and close at hand, little rhythm passing through plain and true. Let that roadside program stay, rolling easy through the day. Boot heels tapping to the tone, slow beat steady as a stone. Bench out front beside the shade, old scoreboard beginning to fade. Someone laughing half a line, someone checking county time. Dog asleep beside the stair, wind brushing through thinning hair. Radio holding one more tune under the lazy afternoon. Familiar groove walking by underneath the open sky. Nothing loud or overdue, just a view. Let that roadside program stay, rolling easy through the day. Boot heels tapping to the tone, slow beat steady as a stone. Screen knocking on the door, truck lights fading down the bend, another quiet day to end. Crate begins tooling up the ground, nights settling around the town. Radio still talking low, letting the last record go. Same station carrying through across the field, an empty view. Simple chords we always knew coming through. Let that roadside program stay, rolling easy through the day. Boot heels tapping language behind your teeth. Whisper stories you never believe. Street lamps blink like watching eyes. Each corner held a half-told lie. You smile with your coat half closed. Left your coffee turning cold. The silence wore your name tonight. Slipped it on like borrowed light. All these roads bend without a sound. Still you trace them round and round. Caught in the pull of a signal gone. Watching you fade but holding on. You move like memory, soft and slow. Gone before the dawn could know. A rhythm tapped on rusted rails. Your breath was riding phantom tales. We danced like ghosts outside the frame. No rhythm left to share the blame. You were a question in your stance, a beat behind the last romance. I spoke but only shadows stayed. Your name dissolved in no decay. Tried to hold the echo's thread, but the silence hummed instead. Caught in the pull of a signal gun. Watching you fade but holding on. You move like memory, soft and slow. Gone before the dawn could know. A taxi hums below the bridge. You sketch regrets along the ridge. Still wearing nightlight or a wool. Each word we left half meaningful.
Welcome to chat. Retracted. I think it
You glanced like time was running thin. The sidewalk drank your footprints in. A low hum climbed into the air. Left all your promises stripped bare. You said you'd never disappear, but you left a whisper here. Caught in the pull of a signal gone. Watching you fade but holding on. You move like memory, soft and slow. Gone before the dawn could know. The alley flickered like a reel. Your shadow broke what I could feel. A vinyl skip where truth once played. The fate I wore your masquerade. I counted beats that weren't mine. Each cause a place you used to sign. Your scent remained a lowercase. Flew through the night in open space. Windows fog with what we meant. Still the groove won't pay the rent. Caught in the pull of a signal gone. Watching you fade but holding on. You move like memory, soft and slow. Gone before the dawn could know. Low beat cutting to it quick. Footsteps glide across the stone. Baseline claiming every zone. Half-lit faces drifting by. Shoulders moving side to side. Dust and rhythm in the lane. Loose but perfectly contained. Hand drums answer from the dark. Tiny sparks inside the spark. Nothing forced, nothing loud. Just a current to the crowd. Shadow Groove Alley. Slide into the sway. Shadow Groove Alley. Let the rhythm stay. Shadow Groove Alley. Breathing in the night. Shadow Groove Alley. Everything feels right. Muted guitar scratching time. Rose drops one crooked line. Shake, adjust around the beat. Soft rotation in the feet. Eyes meet once, then drift away. Nobody has much to say. Groove is doing all the talk. Slow electric midnight walk. Pulse moving rip to rib. Short replies the rhythm gives. Every loop pulling near. Low vibration in the ear. Shadow Groove Alley. Slide into the space. Shadow Groove Alley. Let the rhythm stay. Shadow Groove Alley. Breathing in the night. Shadow Groove Alley. Everything feels right. Hey. Baseline curving to the ground. Circles forming in the sound. Heels tap once, then drift again. Nothing here to explain. No beat lights, no parade. Just a packet slowly made. Every bar, a steady flame. Everybody in the same breath and ocean synchronized. Secret glowing in the eyes. Quiet eat within the groove. Only reason left to move. Shadow Groove Alley. Slide into the sway. Shadow Groove Alley. Let the rhythm stay. Shadow Groove Alley. Breathing in the night. Shadow Groove Alley. Everything feels right. Late tap phone breathing tired neon. Cold benches holding quiet strangers. Distant rail, I'm a low impatient. Loose footsteps crossing yellow lines. Your coat moves softly in the night wind. Station clocks ticking slow above. Old speakers mumble broken numbers. Nobody rushing anywhere. Slow vibration through the rails. Something moving far away. Your eyes drifting down the tunnel like you're waiting for a change. Meet me where the last train lingers, where the quiet rhythm keeps returning. Every minute stretching longer, like a groove that won't release. The newspaper turning in the wind, loose pages sliding down the tracks. A tired worker rubbing cold hands, soft breath fading into dark. You lean against the iron railing, watching signals blink and fade. Every second holds suspension, like a note that never resolves. A slow vibration through the rails, something moving far away. Your eyes drifting down the tunnel, like you're waiting for a change. stretching longer, like a groove that won't release. Yeah. Headlights slowly bloom from darkness, steel wheels singing through the line. Doors side open with a tired whistle, warm air drifting through the cold. You turn softly toward the carriage, one small glance before you go. And somewhere in the empty station, the rhythm keeps you close. Slow vibration through the rails, something moving far away. Your eyes drifting down the tunnel, like you're waiting for a chance. Meet me where the last train lingers, where the quiet rhythm keeps returning. Every minute stretching on, I could prove that train doors slide with a clap, city rushing through the gap, loose crowd swaying down the line, everybody killing time. Backpack thump against the rail, someone tapping out a trail, headphones nodding to the beat, shoes drumming with the sea. One song moved down the road, people start to know. Tiny groove in the ride, energy inside, subway bounce tonight. Rolling left and right, yeah. Subway bounce so free, whole car moving with me. Lady laughing near the door, someone sliding on the floor. Quick spin holding the pole, turning travel into soul. Old man clapping with a grin, kids already jumping in. Station lights begin to blur, but the rhythm keeps the cure. Little shake, little sway, turn the ride to play. One clap, 2 feet, find the street. Subway bounce to life. Rolling left and right. Ooh, subway bounce so free. Whole car moving with me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Train slows down the line, still the smile shine. One last spin before the stop, nobody wants it to drive. Doors open, people flow, but the feeling starts to grow. Every step onto the street, still carrying the beat. Yeah, step wild, take a groove outside. Night alive, we arrive. Subway bounce tonight. Rolling left and right. Subway bounce tonight. Subway bounce so free. Whole car moving with me. Corner light buzzes in a dirty grid. Plastic bag drags like something hid. Footsteps soft on a slanted brick. I follow yours, but I don't click. Traffic low like a sleeping lung. Storefronts home with a neon tongue. One hand in and one hand cold. I move through scenes that never fold. Flash shows things I don't wear. Reflections built from lack of care. Everything's a static frame, but I keep walking just the same. In the oil window walk, where rhythm leaks but no one talks. I trace the pulse and chrome and chalk. Never seen but always stalk. Rose droughts once like a closing night. Clav hits bab with a sideways slide. Old bass loops from a subway car. Repeats like the end at the very start. Ties plays like a brush snare. You left prints but they're never there. My voice too thin, the way I fall, so I bet it light against the wall. Glass shows things I don't wear. Reflections built from lack of care. Everything's a static frame, but I keep walking just the same. In the oil window wall, where rhythm leaks but no one talks. I trace the pulse in chrome and chalk. Never seen but always stalk. Cracking the door says it's not shut. Voice in the vent, low and cut. Muted guitar in a rusted loop. Funk so dry, if a pitch the book, you move like steam down an added band. I chase that heat that never ends. My shoes tap white on an old floor plan. I arm and key, they almost man. Flash shows things I don't wear. Reflections built from lack of care. Everything's a static frame, but I keep walking just the same. In the oil window on, where rhythm leaks but no one talks. I trace the coast and chrome and chalk. Never seen but always strong. Sleepless curls at the edge of beat. Drum don't crack, it just repeats. Clothesline swings with your last cold. Wind don't speak, but I take note. I keep my breath behind the sound. Falsetto thin, don't weigh the ground. You left in steps, I still retrace. Each night lose back to that place. Crash shows things I don't wear. Reflections built from lack of care. Everything's a static frame, but I keep walking just the same. In the oil window wall, where rhythm meets but no one talks. I trace the pulse in chrome and chalk. Never seen but always stalk. Baseline crawling through the floor, concrete breathing slow. Street light flicker on my face, amber undertow. No small talk, no side stories, just the pulse and sweat. Collar open, shoulders loose, silhouette set. Low drum talking to my ribs, short replies in time. Nothing flashy, nothing loud, just a steady climb. Low line frequency running under me. No apology, just velocity. Low line frequency, locked in symmetry. Move deliberately, stay in the pocket, breathe. scratched like a match on stone. Roads cord cut and gone, leaving me alone. Hand percussion side to side, dust against the skin. Minimal but razor sharp. Let it sink in. Half smile in the corner, eyes low aware. Everything micro movement cuts the air. Low line frequency running under me. No apology, just velocity. Low line frequency, locked in symmetry. Move deliberately, stay in the pocket, breathe. No speeches, no lessons, no moral at the end. Repetition turning round the bend. Heel tap, shoulder dips, under domination. Age carved into rhythm, pure calibration. Breath in, spine tall, let the groove decide. Everything unnecessary falls aside. All line frequency, running enemy. No apology, just velocity. Low line frequency, locked in symmetry. Move deliberately, stay in the pocket. Need a resting near the label, side B spinning on its own. Living room in quiet shadow, lamplight leaning on the phone. Empty chair beside the window, curtains moving with the air. Someone left a glass half waiting, like they might come back and care. Song keeps playing past the chorus, past the place we used to know. Funny how a simple record lets a memory start to grow. Vinyl left on side B, turning slowly in the night. No one there to lift the needle, still the groove keeps holding tight. Vinyl left on side B, like a story going long. Sometimes silence in the room needs another spinning song. Roads chords hum through dusty speakers, bassline walking through the floor. Streetlight drawing quiet shadows across the frame beside the door. Old photograph against the cabinet, summer smiles from years ago. Someone said they called tomorrow, that was several songs ago. Outside engines cross the avenue, headlights sweep across the wall. Every passing car reminds me how the night can hold it all. Vinyl left on South Beach, turning slowly in the night. No one there to lift their needle, still the groove keeps holding tight. Vinyl left on South Beach, like a story going long. Sometimes silence in the room needs another spinning song. circle near the center, almost ready to be still, but the room keeps breathing slowly, like it always will. Vinyl left outside me, turning slowly in the night. No one there to live a needle. Still the groove keeps holding tight. Vinyl left outside me, like a story going on. Sometimes silence in the room is another stimming song. Small radio sitting on a bench, faded paint along the edge. Two men resting in the shade, watching slow burrito days. A plastic bag across the ground, the wind just pushing it around. Nothing much to talk about, still hang out. Low signal drifting by from somewhere down the dial. Old tune coming through, soft and blue. Let that bedside channel play, carry the afternoon away. Hands tapping slow on the wood, everything good. Paper cup beside the rail, someone telling half a tale. A truck rolling through the light, dust hanging in the sight. Someone nodding to the beat, shoes scraping lazy feet. Nothing special in the air, still where they are. Same old melody returns, like a page that slowly turns, floating through the day. Easy way, let that benchside channel play, carry the afternoon away. Hands tapping slow on the wood, everything good. We've been leaning on the street, street light, buzzy, quiet heat. Summer stretching in the chair, cooling air, radio still speaking low. Another local show, night settling in the lane, same refrain. Years move just right there, little hours people miss, passing slow. Nice and low, let that benchside channel play, carry the afternoon away. Hands stopping slow on the wood, everything good. From window full of old guitars, watches sleeping in a row. Faded rings inside the counter, holding stories we don't know. Ticket numbers on a clipboard, dusty clock above the wall. Someone leaning near the doorway, listening to the ceiling fan. Loose guitar across the the speaker, rose chords hanging in the air. Something steady in the silence, like a rhythm waiting there. All shot rhythm in the evening, slow and steady on repeat. Every object keeps a story, every heartbeat finds the beat. All shot rhythm in the evening, old reflections in the glass. Just the groove between the moments while the quiet hours pass. Says it. Silver locket near the register, photographs we never see. Typewriter beside a suitcase, holding someone's history. Clavinet taps from the corner, bassline walking through the room. Someone flipping through the pages of a half-forgotten tune. Doorbell ringing soft and hollow, footsteps calcium wooden lines. Every second keeps repeating like a clock without a time. Horn sharp rhythm in the evening, slow and steady on repeat. Every object keeps a story, every heartbeat finds the beat. Horn sharp rhythm in the evening, old reflections in the blast. Just the groove between the moments while the quiet hours pass. Sheet light leaning on the floor. Two old records by the counter, waiting for a voice once more. Someone laughing down the sidewalk, car lights sliding down the lane. Every corner keeps a pattern like a half-remembered refrain. Door swings open to the evening, cool air moving through the room. Every object keeps a rhythm like a slow, familiar tune. All sharp rhythm in the evening, slow and steady on repeat. Every object keeps a story, every heartbeat finds the beat. All sharp rhythm in the evening, old affections in the back. It's just the groove between the moments, how the quiet hours pass. Paper map unfolds on the table, creases shaped like quiet mountain roads. Ink rivers winding through the margins, searching for a distant shore. The compass hums a patient circle, like a planet turning slow. And the road begins its whisker through the dust of where to go. Dandelion seeds become directions when the wind begins to roam. None of them have names for places, still they always find a home. Every road is writing stories across the open skin of earth. Every step becomes a sentence, telling who we were at first. If the miles could turn to lanterns, hanging where the highways bend, bodies wide and copper dry. Train tracks stretched like silver fez sewn across the evening sky. We were lighter than our luggage, running where the horizon is moved. Every station held a window into lives we never knew. Time becomes a wandering river, carving paths through stolen sand. Every current keeps a memory of the shores that shaped its hand. So somewhere past the bending highways, all our scattered footsteps shine like the sparks from passing engines, fading slowly out of time. Every mile becomes a mirror, showing roads we couldn't know. And the wind keeps all the answers in a language never shown. Morning pace the distant ridges with a quiet amber line. Birds weave roar the sky above us like explorers of the wind. If the map forgets the borders of the trails we chose to roam, still the earth will keep the rhythm of the past that led us home. Nothing truly stays unmoving. Every road becomes a rhyme, written in the drifting language of the open book of time. Let the highways turn their pages through the valleys of the air. Let the minds collect the echoes of the travelers past and there. Oh, if tomorrow shifts the compass, still the road will understand every wandering step we planted on the breathing skin of land. Small marquee, blinking crooked, Saturday matinee. Ticket torn with two clean fingers, like it's yesterday. Red seats with little squeaks, people settling in. Candy rattling in the log, grinning like a kid. Trailers roll, the room leans forward, baseline in my chest. I don't need a bigger screen, this place does the rest. Pocket cinema, you let it play. 2 hours slip away. Pocket cinema, I'm okay, laughing in the sway. Couple whispering in row 3, sharing one small cup. Teenagers trying not to giggle, still they mess it up. Usher walks the aisle slow, flashlight like a star. I nod like we got history in this little jar. Someone claps, it's something silly. Whole room joins the sound. For a moment we're a choir. Pocket cinema, let it play. 2 hours slip away. Pocket cinema, I'm okay. Laughing in this way. Credits rounding up the wall, feet start to shuffle. Outside, traffic doing circles, city in a tussle. I button up my jacket, step into the night. I'm in that lasting line, keeping it light. Neon from the corner side paints my shoes in blue. I don't rush to walk back home. Let the groove come through. Pocket cinema, let it play. 2 hours slip away. Pocket cinema, I'm okay. Laughing in this way. Street wine slipping down the avenue has buried deep in a wool. Bottle jacket from a doorway still carries someone's cologne. Taxi headlights glide there slowly, shoes tapping broken stone. Summer laughter from a window, like a life I might have known. Night air colder than I planned, but the wall feels wrecked somehow. Every step across the pavement keeps me in the moment now. Bottle jacket on a cold night keeps the wind away a while. Maybe it ain't really mine, but it fits this road and mile. Bottle jacket on a cold night, holding warmth I didn't own. Funny how a passing moment feels a little like a home. Rose coasting from a bar door, baseline running down the block. Two silhouettes beneath a street lamp, talking slowly round the clock. Old newspaper in a trash bin, front page curling in the breeze. Somewhere singing softly through an upstairs balcony. City moving half a seat, windows glowing here and there. Keeps a secret, floating lightly in the air. Borrow jacket on a cold night keeps the wind away a while. Maybe it ain't really mine, but it fits the road and mine. past the rooftops, dark blue fading into gray. Keys are turning in the distance, someone starting up that day. I return the coat tomorrow, but tonight it walks with me. Little kindness in the winter is enough for company. But hanging in the cold air, footsteps echo down the lane. Somewhere warmth and waiting quietly, past the crater and the rain. Borrowed jacket on a cold night keeps the wind away a while. Baby, it ain't really mine, but it fits the road and mile. Borrowed jacket on a cold night, cold and warm, fact didn't know. Funny how a passing moment feels a little like home. The old bar piano murmurs in the corner, low laughter drifting through the room. A bartender polishing quiet glasses, slow rhythm in his hands. You lean against the wooden counter, eyes half lost in golden light. The band plays something soft and crooked, like a story told too late. Every note falls just a little late, like it doesn't want to leave. And the night keeps breathing slowly through the smoking broken dreams. Just down on slow whiskey street tonight, where the rhythm walks in lazy circles. Every heartbeat sways a little softer. Let the groove pull you inside. A trumpet sigh slips through the speakers, soft and crooked like a grin. Cards shuffle on a backroom table, low voices begging time. You spin the bass between your fingers, watching shadows cross the wall. Every pause becomes a rhythm, like a song that will not fall. Every note falls just a little late, like it doesn't want to leave. And the night keeps breathing slowly to the smoking broken dreams. Down on Soul Whiskey Street tonight, where the rhythm walks in lazy circles. Every heartbeat sways a little softer. Let the groove pull you inside. Chair scraping on the floorboards, soft coast drifting toward the door. Street wind sliding through the doorway, carrying a fading tone. You pause outside beneath the sign light, listening 1 second more. Somewhere in my quiet disguise, the groove begins again. Heaven no fall, just a little late, like it doesn't want to leave. And the night keeps breathing slowly through the smoke and broken dream. Down our soul whiskey street tonight, oh, where the rhythm waxing lazy circles, every heartbeat sways a little softer. Let the groove pull you inside. Every year I make a line, say this time will be the time. Write it down in careful words, like a promise to the world. Morning plans and midnight vows, saying I will change somehow. But the weeks move quietly past the man I hope to be. Small decisions day by day, turning slowly either way. Little steps I barely see, building me. It's the turning point habit. Not a single grand moment, just a quiet daily choice, following a smaller voice. Used to wait for one big sign, something loud to change my mind. Thought a moment bright and clear would arrive some certain year, but the trick was always plain, hidden in the same routine. Every morning starts again, like it always has been. Tiny changes hard to see, growing into what will be. Piece by piece it rearranged. What I changed is the turning point habit. Not a single grand moment, just a quiet daily choice, following a smaller voice. The playlist loud, write it simple, not so proud. Just a step before the next, no dramatic final text. Years will move the way they do, still the path is something new, built by things I choose today in a quiet way. Nothing sudden, nothing fast, just a change that slowly lasts. One more step I choose to make, day by day. It's the turning point habit. Not a single grand moment, just a quiet daily choice, following a smaller voice. A loose thread hangs from the afternoon. No one comes to pull it through. The bench remembers every stranger, but forgets them when they move. A flicker rests on the edge of vision, like it's waiting to be named. But it slips before I reach it, and I'm left exactly the same. Something soft rewrites the air, leaves a trace but nothing there. I lean in but lose the line, like it never once was mine. These hours don't belong to me. They just pass through quietly. Every second brushes by without asking why. The paper sign curls at the edges like it's tired of what it said, and the ground holds quiet impressions of the words we never meant. There's a door that almost opens but decides against the sound, so it settles back into silence without turning around. Something near but out of frame almost calls me by a name. Then it softens into none, like it never had begun. These hours don't belong to me. They just pass through quietly. Every second brushes by without asking why. Light arrives but hesitates, like it's unsure where to land. And the silence shifts its posture when I lift my hand. I try to hold a passing moment, but it thins before it stays, like it wasn't meant for keeping, just for slipping through my day. Something stays without a song, never lost but never found. Close enough to almost see what it does to me. These hours belong to me. They just pass through quietly. Every second rushes by without asking why. Cries below whisper in long ribbons, and overpass breathing slow wind. Faded billboards staring at nothing, old wires humming above the lane. Your footsteps pause near the railing, looking down at quiet traffic. The night holds every distant engine, like a pulse on another road. A calm vibration in the distance, rolling softly through the air. Every moment stretching wider, like a thought we almost share. Meet me on a lonely overpass, where the steady rhythm keeps returning. Every passing car becomes a heartbeat, drifting slowly through the groove. A cyclist glides beneath the bridge, Soft tires trace an empty lane. Somewhere far a late bar closes, laughter fading into dark. You lean quietly on cold iron, watching headlights drift apart. But every second holds a quiet rhythm, circling somewhere in the dark. A calm vibration in the distance, rolling softly through the air. Every moment stretching wide, I could thought we almost shared. Meet me on a lonely overpass, where the steady rhythm keeps returning. Every passing car becomes a heartbeat, drifting slowly through the groove. Morning trucks begin appearing, cold air shifting through the steel. Street lamps dim along a highway, engines warming in the gray. You step slowly from the railing, turning toward the empty road. And somewhere in the fading darkness, the rhythm tells me way. A calm vibration in the distance, rolling softly through the air. Every moment stretching wider, like a thought we almost shared. Meet me on a lonely overpass, and the steady rhythm keeps returning. Every passing car becomes a heartbeat, drifting slowly through the groove. A payphone blowing by the laundromat, numbers fading on the plate, coins waiting in my pocket like they understand the weight. A truck rolls past the corner, headlights sliding on the street. Every sound feels extra careful, like the night is holding breath. The dial tone through the receiver, humming low and thin. Every second on the line feels like it might begin. Standing in the payphone glow, listening to the tone. Somewhere on the other side, maybe someone's home. The soda sign flickers slowly through the window down the block. A taxi passes half asleep, rolling past the clock. The cord twisting in my fingers while the numbers turn around. Every ring across the distance feels louder than the sound. Street wind pushing through the doorway, paper drifting low. Every quiet midnight corner has a place to go. Standing in the payphone glow, listening to the tone. Somewhere on the other side, maybe someone's home. falls into the silence, coins falling with a chime, morning waiting at the edges of the passing time. The hands that are resting on the cradle, neon dim and slow. Every word that wasn't spoken still refuses to go. First bus moving down the avenue, engine starting low. Another night dissolving in the payphone glow. Standing in the payphone glow, listening to the tone, somewhere on the other side, maybe someone's home. Street light flickers, then holds, like it forgot how to get old. A paper drifts, then stops midway, like it lost the will to stray. My footsteps echo once, then fade, as if they doubt the sound they made. Passing face won't fully stay, half remembered on its way. It starts, then slips again. No shade, no end. Let it fall between the lines. Don't complete what time declines. Hold it half, don't make it whole. That's the only way it goes. The window breeze in shallow waves, like it forgets the air it gave. A distant sound begins to form, then folds before it can be born. My shadow stretches, pulls away, like it won't commit to stay. Even silence tilts offline, like it's drifting out of time. It leans, then lets it go. Too near to know. Keep it loose inside your hands. Don't define what never lands. Say it soft and let it go. You don't need to let it show. Just another shape to see. A light slides off before it stays, like it's done with all my ways. Nothing here insists or calls. Everything just shifts and falls. I remain but not the same, like I've stepped outside my name. It fades, not reappears, not gone, not fear. Evening settles like ink in a teacup. Windows bloom with small golden moons. Your footsteps ripple through the hallway, soft as moth wings touching a wall. The street exhales a ripple of whispers. Balconies lean close to listen, and the night opens slowly around us, like a book no one finished. The shadow leans into mine, two quiet silhouettes on the floor. Something unnamed between us, turning the doorknob of time. Lanterns floating over still water, every glow a wandering thought. If silence were made out of silver, this is the moment it brought. A curtain lifts like a slow ocean tide. Moonlight spills across the room. Your laughter folds into the darkness, like a letter sealed too soon. Somewhere a train drifts through the distance, lonely but patient and kind. In the air between every heartbeat holds a secret we almost find. Shadow leans into mine, two quiet silhouettes on the floor. Something unnamed between us, turning the doorknob of time. Lanterns floating over still water, every glow a wandering thought. It's silence were made out of silver. This is the moment it brought. Morning waits behind the curtains, patient as a folding mirror. But the night keeps breathing slowly inside this fragile gap. Your eyes hold small constellations, drifting where words cannot go. And the quiet walks beside us like snowfall, moving slow. Your shadow leans into mine, two quiet silhouettes on the floor. Something unnamed between us, turning the doorknob of time. Lanterns floating over still water, every glow a wandering thought. If silence were made out of silver, this is the moment it brought. Old turntable breathing in the corner, window blinds sway with the evening air. Your photograph beside the radio, quiet eyes that never look away. Street outside moves slow and distant, passing tires whisper through the dark. Another night sits in a chair like it knows my name too well. Maybe time stayed somewhere else, waiting where we used to wander. Every word we never said still returns a little stronger. Your voice rises low through the speakers, turning circles in my mind. Every note becomes a seeker, looking for what stayed behind. Slow groove for the memory closer, like a quiet undertow. Every rhythm keeps the answer that I never let you know. Late cafe across the corner, yellow lights against the glass. Someone laughing by the doorway, moments slipping as they pass. I remember how you listened, every pause between the lines, like you heard the hidden weather moving slowly through my mind. Maybe truth was always near, quiet in the space between us. Every mile, every year finds a way to come and see us. Your voice rides low through the speakers, turn a circle.
That's not bad. But he was there in Congress as a member of the House and then as an outstanding United States Senator. And he really has been outstanding. He's been a close and vital partner in helping us secure the border, stop migrant crime, end the scourge of illegal drugs, and make America safe again and make America great again. And he's a tremendous player. He worked with Tom Homan, worked with all of our people on the right, and many more. And everything he's done has been good. I say everything he touched, he's turned to gold. Now, but even in business, he was successful, in all fairness. And he was successful, and he said, I want to go into politics. I hope you're happy. But as the only Native American, I didn't know that, huh? Let me look at you. Well, I think that's all right. He's got great quality, I can tell you. He's the only Native American in the Senate. How many have been there before you? Do you know? Native American? I think three. Well, you're a fantastic representative. Mark Wayne has also been a fantastic advocate for our cherished tribal communities. He's now the first member of the Cherokee Nation ever to serve as a member of the cabinet. I didn't know all these things. I would have picked him faster if I had known. I would have made a quicker decision. Prior to his career in public service, Mark Wayne had a very successful career in business, leaving school at age 20 after his father got sick, taking over his family business and turning it into a multi-million-dollar success story. He's a very successful guy. Mark Wayne has also a career as an MMA fighter. That's why I looked at his ears and I said, I'm not going to fight with him. You can tell a lot about a person by their ears, right? During which he went totally undefeated. He was undefeated during his career, and he's been inducted into the Oklahoma Wrestling Hall of Fame. And the family is made of fantastic wrestlers, especially that guy right there. That's my favorite guy, huh? And suffered bad injury and come back stronger than ever, I think. So good to have you, man, right? I have no doubt that as he takes the helm of DHS, Mark Wayne will fight for Homeland Security, the United States, and securing the country and making it really strong and the way it should be. Our country's come a long way in the last year. We set it up so beautifully, and then we had 4 years of horror. We had 4 years of disgusting horror, open borders, and things that nobody would even think of. You wouldn't even think of. 25 million people poured into our country, and we've gotten a lot of them out, but we have a lot more to go. 11,888 murderers came into our country. People came in from all over the world, from prisons and gangs, gang members, drug dealers, people from mental institutions, insane asylums. That's the mental institution times 2. And what they allowed to happen to our country can never be allowed to happen again, and it won't. With Mark Wayne, we have somebody that's strong, professional, and fair. As you know, the department that Mark Wayne takes over today is currently shut down by radical left Democrat thugs. in Congress who have blocked all funding for DHS because they're trying to shield illegal alien criminals, gang members. They want to protect them from being taken out of the country, drug dealers, murderers. They're protecting them all. I don't know how people can vote for these people. You know, I see the midterms are close. I don't know what close means, but I don't know how people can vote for them. You take a look, men, they want men to be able to play in women's sports. They want transgender for everybody. Terrible, but that's the way it is. They don't want to give voter ID. They don't want voter ID for elections. They don't want proof of citizenship for elections. And then they get to vote. They do cheat, but I don't know. It's hard to believe they can cheat that much. Just in the past few days, we've seen the horrifying consequences of Democrats' deadly open border extremism. They want open borders, and they want to open the borders again if they have their chance, because they think they're going to get votes by doing that. On Thursday, a precious 18-year-old college student named Sheridan Gorman was shot and killed while she was walking in a park. She was just walking in the park, didn't do anything. The illegal alien monster charged with Sheridan's brutal murder had come illegally from Venezuela and been released into our country by Sleepy Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. And I don't say that because I think he's fine, he's okay. I don't like him, dislike him. I talk about job performance. That's all I care about, job performance. Worst president in history. And Obama wasn't far behind, by the way. But he was then arrested and released again by Democrat governor, a real slob of a governor, J.B. Pritzker, in the sanctuary city of Chicago, which we could make safe in 2 months, I would say. 2 months if we sent in the group, Tom, right? 2 months would be good. 3 months, very good. 4 or 5 months, it would be great. But they would never call because they don't want to do that. All they have to do is call and ask for a little help. The Democrats in Congress do not care how much American blood they shed in their demented pursuit of open borders, from Sheridan Gorman to Jocelyn Nungary and Laken Riley. Their quest to flood our country with illegal aliens has left countless American victims in its wake. They never changed. They see what's happening. They never change. That's what they want. They want to get the votes. With sanctuary and sanctuary cities going at levels that they are, and we've ended a lot. We've done a lot. But for some reason, they love it. It's a sanctuary. You know, sanctuary cities are sanctuary for, it's really a sanctuary for criminals. With Secretary Mullen at DHS, we will continue our record-setting efforts to deport these illegal alien criminals from our country, and we are doing at record levels despite a very unfair court system, a radicalized left court system. And others that I'm not too fond of also. And we'll protect innocent American lives. Every single illegal migrant who is a criminal record must be deported immediately. If they have a criminal record, you got to deport them. And there's a lot that came in under Biden. And Kamala, the great border czar, Kamala, who never went to the border, never called Border Patrol. Never once called Border Patrol. Can you imagine that, Jim? She's the border czar. She never called Border Patrol. Explain that to me. He's the worst. She was as bad as he was. Going to give him IQ tests next week. Under the Trump administration, we've achieved unprecedented gains on public safety. Yesterday, we were in Memphis, Tennessee, to celebrate the steepest reduction in crime ever recorded. We've been there for about 5 months, and the numbers, nobody's ever seen anything like it. And thanks to our Memphis Safe Task, it's called Safe Task Force, alongside our efforts in Washington, D.C. And what we've done in Washington is amazing. We have Washington as a safe city now. It's been amazing. It's been, if you go back a year and a half, 2 years ago, Washington was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, let alone this country. And now we have a very safe city. And what they've done with all of the people working, many of the people standing right there, has been incredible. And now we're going to see all of our cities take a big step because of Mark Wayne. In 1 year, my administration, we've created the most secure border in the United States history. and the largest drop in illegal immigration ever recorded, slashed the illegal fentanyl crossings on our border by 64%, and accomplished the largest decline in the murder rate in the history of our country, bringing it down to 1900. That's before my father was born. My father was born a little bit after that. He wouldn't be happy mentioning this because he never liked talking about age, but he lived to be a ripe old age, but that's before my father was born. Think of it, 1900, we have a record, 1900. Murders last year were at the lowest level in 125 years, and we're making America safe again. We're doing it at levels that nobody, everything we're doing, we're making great. The border is great. The military is great. We're having, by the way, a tremendous success, as you know, in Iran. We had one in Venezuela, and now we're having one in Iran. They have no Navy left. They have no Air Force left. They have no anti-aircraft equipment left, no radar left, no leaders left. The leaders are all gone. Nobody knows who to talk to. But we're actually talking to the right people, and they want to make a deal so badly. You have no idea how badly they want to make a deal. And we'll see what happens. I want to thank Pete Hegseth. The job you're doing over there is really incredible. You and the general and all of the other generals and colonels and captains and majors and everybody else, right? It's a perfect, amazing thing. We make the best military equipment in the world. Now we're going to make it faster. We want to get it faster, but we make the best in the world. We're doing a job. So I'd like to ask Attorney General Bondi to come and do the honors of swearing in a man who's going to do a phenomenal job for our country. And I tell you, your family has to be very proud. You have to be very proud. Everybody wanted this job. I said, there's one man for this job, and I have no doubt he's going to be fantastic. Thank you, Pam. Come on over. Thank you.
And repeat after me. I do solemnly swear,
I do solemnly swear,
Mark Wayne Mullen,
Mark Wayne Mullen,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith to allegiance and do the same.
and that I take this obligation freely,
I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Secretary.
Hey. Mark Wayne, want to say a few words?
Thank you. I think that was the most nervous I've ever been. I don't, it just seems surreal being in the Oval Office and having the President of the United States speak so highly of me and then recognize my family and know my family by name. It's humbling, and I never take it for granted, but I've made this very clear that I don't care what color your state is. I don't care if you're red or you're blue. At the end of the day, my job is to be Secretary of Homeland and to protect everybody the same, and we will do that. I'll fight every single day. Today I got the privilege of meeting so many of the employees at DHS. These employees have been there for 30 days without pay. And if you need anything to know their dedication to show up and still protect the homeland that you and I enjoy and the freedoms that we're experiencing, they're working with for free because of political politics. That's all I need to know. I told them, as you're fighting 365 days, understand I'll be fighting 365 days beside you. No one's going to outwork me, and I'm not going to let any of them outwork me. The President has entrusted me with this, and failure is not an option. And so thank you so much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I won't let you down.
Thank you very much. I love that expression, no one's going to outwork me. That's a wrestler's expression, isn't it, huh? That's a good wrestler's expression. Yes, please.
Mr. President, will the Secretary's replacement in the Senate support the SAVE Act and the use of the talking filibuster to get it through?
Well, it's not the SAVE Act. It's not called this. It's called the Save America Act. There's a big difference because the SAVE Act, nobody knows what that means. Save America means Save America. And I can't speak for him, but I would imagine that Mark Wayne, I didn't even ask him the question because who wouldn't support it? Voter ID with a picture. You want citizenship, proof of citizenship. Ideally, you want to end mail-in ballots because there's tremendous corruption. Then we added a couple of things, Mark Wayne, like I don't think being a great athlete and having a family of great athletes, they have produced great athletes in this family, all-American wrestlers. They especially like wrestling, by the way. And what about baseball? Do you play baseball? Anything? They like wrestling. But I don't think that you would say that his family, and I don't know this for a fact, and I shouldn't say it because I could get myself. Does anybody in your family want men to play in women's sports? I don't think so, Jim, right? I don't think so. I don't think. How would they do? Would they do good wrestling you? They would be in trouble? He said, yes, they'd be in big trouble. It's so crazy. So that would be one. And then we have a few others that we call them the best of Trump. But if you look at transgender mutilization of children, we don't want that. It's the mutilization of children. We don't want that. So generally speaking, I think I can answer that Mark Wayne would be very much in favor of what I'm in favor of. Would you say that's right, Mark? I can't think of too many things. He might be worse. He might be worse than me. That's my look at his wife is saying. That's right. But so yeah, he's going to be great. Yeah.
Do you believe the Secretary will run DHS any differently than Kristi Noem did? What do you hope to see as his priorities?
Well, we had a good run. Look, we created the strongest border with the help of that man right there. Tom is so incredible. And he's going to be a big influence here, too. There's nobody more professional, nobody better. There's nobody better as a human being. You know, he looks tough, but he's got a good heart. But not too good. Don't make it too good. But, you know, we had Tom. We have the safest border we've ever had. We have a lot of assets, but a lot of things we can do, and we're going to do. We have to get criminals out of our country that were allowed in by Biden. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, do you support what appears to be emerging agreement coming out of the Senate to reopen DHS?
Well, I'm going to look at it, and we're going to take a good hard look at it. I want to support Republicans, and, you know, sometimes it's awfully hard to get votes when you have Democrats that don't want to have voter ID. They don't want to have proof of citizenship. They don't want to do anything about men playing in women's sports. That's one of the items we put on, you know. And I did that just because it's so popular. You know, they say that's at least an 80-20 issue. No, it's about a 99-1. I don't think it's, what do you think, Pete? Do you think it's 80-20? Who's closer, 80-20 or 99-1?
Almost 100.
Yeah, I think 100 is really the, so, you know, so I support that, and I support common sense.
Would you be comfortable with a deal that involves separating ICE funding from the DHS funding package in order to reopen?
Well, they're working on all of that. You know, that's a detail that they'll explain later. Please.
Election integrity and DHS measures. Mr. President, since CISA falls under DHS, and given that many credible voices have raised concerns over its premature and possibly likely faulty 2020 election assessment, will you and Secretary Mullen implement reforms at CISA and at DHS to ensure full confidence in future elections, like in the upcoming?
About it. We'll talk about it, you know, pros and cons. Look, they used it to try and put me in prison, right? So I can't be thrilled with it. They use that very strongly, very illegally. The Democrats are thugs, and I don't want to say that. It would be nice to everyone get along, but it's a different country than it was years ago. It was very dangerous the way they used it, and they weaponized government. They used that to weaponize government. So I'm not thrilled, but I'll also go along with two groups of people, the military, and I think the military likes it, right? And I'll go along with the senators. I'm fine. But I was a big victim of it. Yeah, please.
Are you going to send Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff to do direct negotiations with the Iranians?
Yeah, well, we're in negotiations, as it turned out, and now you've seen what I said yesterday was exactly correct. We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it. And the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there? Look, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their communications are gone. That's the biggest problem. It's very hard to communicate them between themselves. All of the anti-aircraft is gone. Most of their missiles are gone. We either shot them or they shot them and don't have them anymore. They're down to a trickle. Pretty much everything they have is gone. I don't know. Can you name one thing that's not gone, or can you name one thing that's doing well? You know, if you read the papers, you think we're tied. You think we're in a tough battle. We are roaming free over Tehran, the city, Tehran, as opposed to Iran. We're roaming free. We can do whatever we want. And as you know, today we were going to have the privilege of shooting down a very big electric generation plant, one of the biggest in the world. And one shot to the right location ends the plant, it collapses. And we held off based on the fact that we're negotiating. Yeah.
What do you think was the turning point to make you want to pursue a ceasefire? A few days ago, you said you wanted to continue bombing Iran. Now you want to pursue peace talks. Was there something that happened?
The fact that they're talking to us and they're talking sense. And remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Just, I said yesterday, they said, what are the top 10? I said, well, number 1, 2, and 3 is they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that. And I don't want to say in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that.
How do you ensure they won't have a nuclear
Your
weapon?
former Border Patrol chief, Greg Bavino, said his only regret is that he didn't catch more illegal aliens. What's your reaction to that?
Who said that?
That's your former Border Patrol chief. He just retired.
Well, I mean, we captured a lot. They were allowed into the country by Sleepy Joe and that group of incompetent people that were, he was the worst president ever, the group of incompetent people. To me, that's the biggest scar. Inflation, they caused the highest inflation we've ever had. We've already gotten rid of it. The biggest scar is what they did, the people that they allowed. From prisons all over the world. They came from the Congo, from all over South America. Rough people. Really tough people. So, no, I understand what he means. He would have liked to have captured more. I'm not capturing so much as removing. We're removing thousands of people. And many are self-deporting because we're going after them so powerfully that they're self-deporting, Tom. Going back, I think that's one of the big unkept secrets. We have thousands and thousands of people, and they're self-deporting. They're going back to where they came from. But what we want really is the criminals. We're really focused on those criminals, getting them out. Yeah.
What's your message right now to Democrats and also to Americans that are stuck at airports? It's really devastating watching it online because Democrats won't fund DHS.
What's devastating?
What's your message to Americans right now stuck at airports as we speak because Democrats won't
Well,
fund
they
DHS?
just don't, they won't. Look, this is a deal that was done in the great big beautiful deal, which gave you the biggest tax cuts ever, including no tax on tips and no tax on Social Security for the seniors. Think of it, no tax on overtime, tax deductions when you buy a car, you take money, you pay interest on the money, you deduct it. We've never had that for people buying cars, if it's an American car, only if it's an American car. But they are just they stick together, the Democrats. I tell you, I give them great credit for that. We have some that they're not good stickers. We have guys like Tom Massey in Congress, who's terrible. He's just terrible, terrible person. I call him Rand Paul Jr. But they don't vote. Rand Paul, rarely votes for stuff. Likes me, says I'm a great president. He said the other day, I'm a great president, one of the greatest presidents. But I said, do me a favor, vote for us and don't call me a great. I'd rather have the vote than the statement. But we have people that don't stick together, and those people hopefully will someday be gone. The thing I most respect about the Democrats, even on horrible policy, they stick together. What they do have, though, is horrible policy. Transgender for everyone, open borders, men and women's sports. They have the worst policy that you can imagine. And so whether they stick together or not, they have just this terrible policy. We have great policy. Republicans have great policy. We have common sense policy, but it's great policy. That's our biggest advantage, is our policy is correct. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, are you encouraging our allies in the Gulf to be more involved in the Iran operation?
Say it.
Are you encouraging our allies in the Gulf to be more involved in the Iran operation?
Yeah, A little bit, but more NATO. I think our Gulf allies have been pretty good, to be honest with you. UAE's been hit so hard. He got hit by 1,400 rockets, shot them all out of the air with our great Patriot missiles. Think of it, they shot 100 missiles at one of our aircraft carriers, the Abraham Lincoln, one of the biggest ships in the world, actually. And out of 101 missiles shot, every single one of them was knocked down in the sea. Think of that. Think of what that means. 101 missiles, highly sophisticated, very fast missiles shot. Out of 101, all 101 were shot down, and now, for the most part, lie at the bottom of the sea. Yeah, pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. Our military is amazing, Pete. You know the attack I'm talking about recently? 101 shot. I said, wow. I saw that. You can see we have sort of pretty good equipment that we see. It's called the red line. Those red lines were thick, right? I said, that's a lot. And then we saw them one by one just get shot. And these guys that do the shooting are the coolest cucumbers ever. You know, most people, you don't have a lot of time. When a missile's going at 2,500 miles an hour, I don't care how far away it is, you don't have a lot of time. But I watched them sit down and think. Great students, MITs, a lot of MITs, a lot of guys like this. They're not as much into the muscle as they are this one right here. And amazing to watch them perform under great pressure, because they have a matter of seconds to do it. If they don't do it properly, it's a big problem, you know, because these were powerful. These were very powerful missiles coming. And so a lot of people choke. They don't choke. These guys don't choke. They're the best in the world. We have the best in the world, yeah.
Mr. President, what would be your message today to the TSA agents who have been staying home in recent days amid this impasse?
Well, some of them are needing money, you know, because the Democrats cut off their money. I blame the Democrats more than anything else. But some of them, you know, they didn't get paid because they're not funded by the Democrats. This is a Democrat problem. In fact, I actually said to the Senate, why would you say this is a Democrat problem? I think the polls are showing it's a Democrat problem. And they'll do anything actually to hurt our country so they can try and win the midterms. And if we ever went back to our old policies, we wouldn't have a country left.
If they get a deal, Republicans and Democrats in the Senate, to fund all but enforcement operations of ICE, to get those TSA agents repaid and to open up the rest of the department, would you sign that?
Well, I don't want to comment until I see the deal, but as you know, they're negotiating a deal. I guess they're getting fairly close, but I think any deal they make, I'm pretty much not happy with it. These guys came in, they wouldn't pay people. You know, they had a deal to pay. They had to break their deal. The Democrats broke the deal that we had. It was all done. Everything was fine. And then they just said, well, we're not going to pay anymore. And they hurt our country. And at a very difficult time because, you know, we are at, as they would say, a war. They call it a war. I call it a military operation, a very successful one, like successful like nobody's ever seen before. Hey, Venezuela was equally as successful. That was a great thing. No, the Democrats had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they said, well, we're not going to pay. And so a lot of people suffered over that and put our country in danger. You have another question? You haven't been here in a while.
Well, on Iran, can you give us any more sense of who exactly in Iran it is, either Witkoff and Kushner and others you're speaking with?
Yeah, we had, I hate to say this in front of these young people. They're not children. I spoke to most of them. They sound like adults to me, even though they are sort of children, right? They'll always be your children. But I hate to say it, but we killed all their leadership. And then they met to choose new leaders, and we killed all of them. And now we have a new group, and we can easily do that, but let's see how they turn out. We have really regime change. You know, this is a change in the regime because the leaders are all very different than the ones that we started off with that created all those problems. So this was, I think we can say, Jason, this is regime change, right?
What makes you trust them?
I don't trust anybody. I don't trust you. I mean, that's only because I know you. But if I didn't know you, I'd probably have more trust. But I don't trust anyone. Why do you say that? Why do you say what makes you trust? Do you think I trust them? I don't trust them.
Then why bother talking to them?
Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing, actually. They gave us a present, and the present arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize. And they gave it to us, and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me: we're dealing with the right people.
Is that nuclear related?
No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related, and it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people. Because, you know, you don't know, because the leadership was killed, all gone. Khomeini, all gone, as the expression goes, the past supreme leader. And then the new supreme leader was racked up, at a minimum racked up pretty good, and everyone else was gone. And then many of the people in the third tier are gone, but we're dealing with a group of people that I think turn out, and the present, the gift they made to us was very significant, and they said they were going to do it, and it happened, and they're the only ones that could have done it. Jennifer?
Was it related to the Strait of Hormuz and the flow of?
Yeah, it was related to the flow and to the strait, yeah, it was.
Are you negotiating on who's going to control the strait from now on?
No, we'll have control of anything we want. Look, if we can end this without more lives being down, without knocking out $10 billion electric plants that are brand new and the apple of their eye, I'd like to be able to do that, you know? But they can't have certain things. I mean, you know the things. I don't have to go over the list, but again, it starts with no nuclear weapons, and they've agreed to that. There won't be any nuclear weapons. They're not going to have, and they're not going to have enrichment, any of those things. But look, I hate to say that we're in a very good bargaining position, and I hate to say that they're defenseless because, you know, until that last missile is fired, they have little power. But we are in about the best bargaining position. We're way ahead of schedule. And again, they have no Navy and they have no Air Force and they have no missile protection, and most of their missiles are gone. Most of their launches we've killed. You know, we've killed about 82% of their launches. So even if they had a missile, they can't launch it. We've been very effective. We have the greatest military in the world. Nobody even comes close. We have the best military equipment in the world. Go ahead.
On Saudi Arabia, there's been some reporting that you've been talking to the Crown Prince. Have you been focused on normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel?
Well, no, we have a great relationship with Saudi Arabia. What do you hear with Saudi Arabia?
Just hearing that you've been talking and that he has been encouraging you to do certain things related to Iran. Can you share?
Well, he's a warrior. He does, yeah. He's a warrior. He's fighting with us, by the way. Saudi Arabia has been excellent, and UAE, excellent. And I will tell you, Qatar, incredible. Qatar took a hit, a pretty bad hit. Qatar is very close, you know. They're essentially, you can walk right over the border. Qatar took a hit. They've been great. They've been very strong. Kuwait, they had a little mishap. They shot down 3 planes with our missiles. They happen to be our planes, but the pilots made it. Can you imagine the pilots making it? The pilots saw what was coming, and they said, those are Patriots. We're not going to escape Patriots, and they got out of there pretty quick, Pete, right? Pretty amazing that they got out. The 3 pilots lived. They're fine. In fact, they're flying today.
Was the Kuwaitis that accidentally fired the missile?
Yeah, the Kuwaitis made a mistake. They fired. They thought they were firing at the enemy. It was, as the expression goes, friendly fire. But the pilots are great. They're flying today. Pretty amazing, right, when you think of it? Yeah.
President Trump, on a human level, how hopeful are you that this peace deal will work out? Like as a human,
On what?
on a human level, not as the President of the United States, how hopeful are you that this peace deal will work out with Iran?
You're talking about to end it? Well, I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure. You know, I don't like to say this. We've won this. This war has been won. The only one that likes to keep it going is the fake news. I mean, the New York Times, you read the New York Times, it's like we're not winning a war where they have no Navy and they have no Air Force and they have no nothing. And we literally have planes flying over Tehran and other parts of their country, they can't do a thing about it. For instance, if I want to take down that power plant, that very big, powerful power plant, they can't do a thing about it. It's like, take me. That's all they can do. And yet, if you read the New York Times, or if you watch ABC fake news or NBC fake news, you'd say, it's a close battle. It's not a close battle. They're totally defeated. You know, we killed their Navy in, would you say 3 days, Pete? Gone. In fact, I was a little upset with Pete. I said, why didn't you save the ships? We could have used them, right? He said, it's more fun shooting them down. But the Navy was wiped out in a very rapid order. Pretty impressive for you guys, you champion wrestlers, right? When you hear this stuff. But you don't, if you read the news, you don't hear this. You know, you read like, oh, they're doing wonderfully. They're doing terribly. They're wiped out. Militarily, they are dead. Yeah.
Is there a new sense of a timeline? Do you want to get something done before the midterms?
Well, we'd like to see President Putin and President Zelensky sit down and make a deal. I think they're getting close, but I've been saying that for a while. I've settled 8 wars. All of them should have been more difficult than this one. This should have been the easiest one. But these are two people that truly hate each other. You'll find out that hatred is not good for making deals. These are people that they don't like each other very much. Yeah.
I know you said there's a bunch of people from the administration who are negotiating with Iran. There's been reports that the vice president is leading those negotiations. Is that true?
Well, he's involved in them. JD is involved, and Marco's involved, and Jared Kushner's involved, very smart guy, and Steve Witkoff, smart guy, is involved. And I'm involved. I'm involved. Why? I'm going to be so big. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I'm the President of the United States, Tom, and I'm not going to talk about it. It's beneath me to talk about saving millions of lives, because that's what you're talking about. You're talking about saving millions of lives. If Iran had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it. And if I didn't end the horrible Barack Hussein Obama Iran nuclear deal in my first administration, they would have had a nuclear weapon 3 or 4 years ago. They would have used it. I would have never gotten the chance probably to be president. Who knows what it would have been so devastating. And if we didn't send those beautiful B-2 bombers, they took them off my desk. They were right there. I don't know why. But if we didn't have those beautiful, the B-2 hit, which was, so we obliterated, despite CNN. CNN said, well, maybe the word obliteration. Said, no, we obliterated it. Just obliterated their nuclear potential. You would have had them having, 2 weeks after that attack, had we not made the attack, they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have absolutely used it. And they would have used it on the entire Middle East, including Israel. And you know why you see that? Because unexpectedly, when this war broke out, unexpectedly, they started sending missiles to UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and elsewhere. And nobody thought they were going to. Were you equally surprised by that, Pete?
Way more than we thought.
Pete, do you want to give about a 3-minute statement on how we're doing in this, as I call it, military operation? People don't like me using the word war, but so I won't. But the Democrats call it a war. How about a little statement? I think he's done a very good job. Do we agree he's done a good job, Mark White? Can we take some of your time?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. You're spot on. Never in history has a modern military, Iran had a modern military, a modern navy, a modern air force, modern air defenses, leadership, massive bunker. Never has a modern military been so rapidly and historically obliterated, defeated, from day one with overwhelming firepower. The air campaign that we've conducted, that Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books, truly. And it's because we have a president of the United States that when he sends his warfighters out to fight, he unties their hands to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. And that's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well. We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran, as the president talked about your future. The president has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees. Our job is to ensure that. And so we're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary to ensure the interest of the United States of America are achieved on that battlefield. This is not Iraq and Afghanistan. This is not a president who's interested in vague end states. He's been very clear with us about what we need to accomplish, creating the conditions for them never to have a nuclear capability, and that's exactly what we're doing in historic fashion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Appreciate it. Great job. You know, the only two people that were quite disappointed, I don't want to say this, but I have to. I said, Pete and General Raisin Kane, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon. Here they go. Oh, that's too bad. Pete didn't want it to be settled. It's these guys are doing a great job. That's a good attitude, though, Tom, right? They were not interested in settlement. They were interested in just winning this thing. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can you, just taking things locally, hopefully not doing international affairs for a second, do you support the construction of the Second Avenue subway in New York City and will your administration?
Wow, that's really far out, Chris. You know, the Second Avenue subway is being under construction for, you're a young guy, is longer than you are old, okay? Huh? That's been under construction. I haven't heard about the Second Avenue subway in 20 years. What the hell kind of a question is that? I guess they got to get it finished. They spent trillions of dollars practically. No, they spent more money on that than on anything, I think, in the history of our city, in New York City, and it's been under construction for a long time. It's very sad, actually. The only thing maybe worse was Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, his train, I call it his train wreck, because it's a wreck. That's been years. It's literally 30 times over budget. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And it doesn't go to San Francisco and Los Angeles like it was supposed to. They decided to cut it way short because there was no way they could finish it. But it's one of the worst. I've never seen anything like it. Other than the worst, the Federal Reserve building for almost $4 billion, little building that's going to cost a renovation for $4 billion, headed by our highly incompetent head of the Federal Reserve. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, would you be open, are you hoping to see the Senate pursue reconciliation 2.0 to fund ICE and pass the Save America
Well,
Act?
we'll see about reconciliation. We're certainly talking about reconciliation, I think, Mark Wayne, right? Do you want to talk about that for a second? Now that he's working, we can get him to do this.
Thank you. Lindsey Graham, the chairman where the reconciliation will funnel through, he is committed to making sure we get reconciliation through. If that is in some form with funding ICE, possibly backfilling from the One Big Beautiful Bill, but also more importantly, the Save American Act. There's a framework that we can do through reconciliation, paying for it, put some of the policies that cost money in, because there's nothing more important than the Save American Act. I mean, that's what the American people want. There's 80% of the population say they want only Americans voting, citizens that are registered to vote, citizens that have done it the right way, and I believe that everybody wants an election integrity. So fortunately, Lindsey Graham has said through reconciliation, he's willing to put the framework out for that.
And I think that was said so beautifully, so concisely, so well, your father, that we should let him have the last word, and that was it. That was the last word. Did he do a good job? Are you impressed with your father?
Never been more impressed with anybody in my life.
How about me? Don't answer. Don't answer. Don't answer. No, you like your father better, okay? Come here. Look at this guy. Come here. This guy, don't wrestle him. We'll steal over here. All right. I want to thank the family, because without the family, he's not here. You know, he's a different person. And that goes especially for Mom, who looks like she's about 22 years old. I don't know. I see these kids, but she looks very young. But it's a great couple. Congratulations to you both. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thanks. Come on in.
Hello, Mr. President.
This is a little bit more comfortable. It was a little wet out there. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Go ahead.
So, President Trump, what's harder? Peace in the Middle East or ending a government shutdown?
Well, I think the hardest is this. This has been going on for 3,000 years. The shutdown's only been for 10 days. So I think the shutdown, it's gotten to be almost customary, but we're taking care of it. We've got the military paid in full, and we're doing a lot of things. We're ending some programs that we don't want. They happen to be Democrat-sponsored programs, but we're ending some programs that we never wanted, and we're probably not going to allow them to come back. I think they made a mistake. I think they made a big mistake. This is really a Schumer shutdown because he's become sort of irrelevant, and he wants to make himself relevant again.
And in terms of the politics of this historic peace deal that we're on the way to go sign right now, you would think it's good for everybody. But at a rally this weekend, they were cheering for you and they were booing Netanyahu. What's up with that?
I don't know, but we're going to make everybody happy. The one thing I can tell you is everybody is happy, whether it's Jewish or Muslim or the Arab countries. Every country is dancing in the streets. And
The platform air was holding its breath. A thin white light along the rail. You stood there quiet as unfinished ink, your shadow folded in the pale. Your voice once lived inside this hour, now only echoes learn your name. The night keeps every fragile moment, but never keeps them quite the same. The silence leaned a little closer, like it was trying to understand how something so light could disappear without a tremor in the land. You were a thin frequency between us, a signal passing through the air. Too quiet for the world to notice, too clear for me not to hear. A bus moved slowly through the evening, your reflection slid across the glass. The city kept its steady breathing, while one small moment tried to pass. Them silent, some feelings live without a sound. They move like distant radio waves above the steeping ground. Napping broke, no sky collapsing, no sudden storm of memory, just a careful shape of absence standing quietly with me. Like a frequency fading through midnight, your presence thin but never died. Even now in certain silences, I feel that signal pass inside. Color across the quiet avenue, but underneath the waking traffic, that moved a trace of you. just a soft, unfinished tone. Like a station still transmitting long after the voice is gone. Some departures leave no thunder, no final line to recognize, only a fragile unseen current drifting slowly through your life. You are the thin frequency between us, a fragile line inside the night. It's somewhere in a quiet static. Your signal still survives. The lake keeps folding quiet silver pages, moonlight drifting through the sleeping reeds. A single bird redraws the empty sky with wings that whisper ancient stories. The shoreline listens without moving, like a clock that forgot the hours. Your memory floats across the water, soft as breath inside a lantern. Fireflies wander through the grasses, riding gold across the air. None of them remember faces, still they glow as if they care. Your name falls slowly through the evening, like a feather made of light. Every ripple learns to carry pieces of the quiet night. If the sky could keep a secret, like the lake beneath the blue, all its silent constellations would be whispering of you. Would be whispering of you. Summer insects stitch the darkness with invisible silver thread. Lanterns drift along the water where the fading daylight bled. We were younger than the river, rolling restless through the fields. Every silence held a promise only open hearts could feel. Time became a quiet current, turning so beneath our days. Yet the night keeps gentle copies of the lives we used to trade. Somewhere in the drifting starlight, all our vanished summers shine, like forgotten past battles sleeping under shifting times. Every year echoes a lantern floating slowly out to sea, and the waves keep all the stories that the wind once told me. Dawn begins to race the darkness with a pale, impatient hand. Birds rehearse their fragile music, over water brightens blast. If the world forgets our footsteps, still the tide will recognize how two shadows cross the shoreline once beneath forgiving sky. skies. Nothing truly fades the silence. Every wave repeats a line, hidden in the breathing rhythm of the slowly turning dial. Let the light release its fireflies to the open field of air. Let the water hold the echoes of the word we couldn't share. If tomorrow steals their footprints from the quiet silver sand, still the lake will keep our story. Written softly in its hands. Oh, sundial leaning in the dawning grass, measure shadows instead of hours. The sunlight slides along the stone like a quiet animal of gold. Dust flows through the afternoon, practicing the art of drifting. And time sits somewhere in the branches, listening to leaves repeat. A falling leaf becomes a clock, turning circles in the air. None of them can stop the moment, still they move as if aware. Time is drawing quiet spirals through the center of the day. Every second bends like sunlight on the stones along the way. If the hours had soft footsteps walking slowly through the land, we would hear them in the grasses brushing gently through our hands. Old clock sleep inside the attic, dreaming gears of copper light. Every tick a distant echo from the architecture of the night. We were younger than the shadows stretching long across the field, and the afternoon kept widening like a map that would not yield. Years revolved like patient planets orbiting the silent sun, yet the wind repeats the moment long after the day is done. Somewhere in the quiet daylight, all the vanished minutes glow like the pollen drifting upward from the flowers far below. Every breath becomes a measure in the music of the sky, and the air keeps gentle rhythm for the hours passing by. The golden meadow like a page inside a book. Birds erasing the sky with motion in 1,000 turning hooks. If tomorrow changes calendars, still the sunlight understands how the moving earth keeps writing new horizons in the sand. Nothing truly stops the circle. Every shadow forms a sign. The open fields of it, and let the seconds bloom like flowers in the garden everywhere. The night redraws the sundial, still the earth will understand. when the midday breaks. Shake clicks like the sound it makes. Slip or slide on a dusty tile. Neighbors laugh in a loop profile. Kalimba jumps and a 6-note tease. I count the groove with my shoulders, knees. Fans spin slow, but I dance inside. Lemon peel in a jar of pride. No plan, just slip and swing. Even stillness got a rain. Every pause is part of play. Leaning where the beat won't stay. In the 10-river slide, I move like time forgot to hide. Hands talk, hips decide. You don't care if I lie. Just kicks up where the rhythm lands. Fork on plate, got its own demands. Bassline hums like a market lane. Same old steps, but I loop the chain. Mirror fall from the heat I throw. Glass can't catch where I'm gonna go. Cracks in tiles, got a perfect bend. Move too clean and the song might end. No can, just slip and swing. Even stillness got a rain. Every pause is part of play. Leaning where the beat won't stay. In the 10-river slide, I move right time forgot to hide. Heads talk, hips decide. You don't care if I lie. Floorboard tops in the talking tone. Folk guitar with a marrow moan. My falsetto floats like steam. Fin my pawn in the tambourine. Crackers baking the seat and drag. Either sinks with the vinyl shaft. Shoes off now, no room for pride. I glide with off these guys. No plan, just slip and swing. Even stillness got a ring. Every pause is part of play. Leaning where the beat won't stay. Never slide. I move like time forgot to hide. Hands tall, hips decide. You don't care if I lie. I snatched that twice from a breakfast bowl. Leaving the spoons got funky soul. Rub girls up like a baseline curl. Every step spins a tiny whirl. Dimby kicks when my heels should fall. Breath don't count, but I feel it on. Sing too soft, but it right to tie. Falsetto thing, but it's free a while. No plan, just slip and swing. Even still, this got a ring. Every pause is part of play. Leaning where the beat won't stay. I move like time forgot to hide. Oh, hands tall, hips decide. You don't care if I lie. You stay like warmth inside a sleeve. Long after winter stepped away. A quiet pool beneath my breathing that never fully learned to fade. Your voice was softer than a habit, harder to break than I could say. It moved through me without a warning, then slowly chose to stay. I don't reach for what we were now, still it settles in my hands like a weight I never noticed till it slipped beyond my grasp. You remain like quiet gravity, pulling without a sound. Not enough to hold me still, not enough to let me down. Every thought bends slightly toward you, even when I turn away. Like a line I never finished, still repeating through the day. You felt like something just remembered. directions, but you linger between. Like a word I almost whispered, yeah, then forgot what it could mean. There's a trace that doesn't follow, and a rule I understand. It just rests along the edges of everything I am. You remain like quiet gravity, never asking to be known. Not enough to bring me back, still too close to leave alone. Every feeling leans towards you in a way I can't explain. Like a sentence left unfinished, it's still repeating in my brain. Pretend it isn't there. Some things don't need resolution, some just learn to stay somewhere. You're not heavy, not a burden, just a shape I've grown around. Like a rhythm in the distance that I hear but can't track down. There's a chord I didn't choose here, but it fits me all the same. Like a silence I've adjusted till it no longer feels strange. But you remain like quiet gravity, even now without a trace. Not enough to change my direction, still it shits my inner space. Every ending leaves emotion even after it is gone. Like a line that keeps on moving. Quiet gravity. Streetlights drift across the windshield glass. Old radio murmurs something half remembered. Highway markers counting quiet years. Your name riding slow inside the engine hum. Passing towns that never learn my face. Billboards fading like forgotten letters. The road been soft beyond the dark, and I keep driving through the same old questions. Maybe time was only passing through. Maybe we were passengers pretending. Every mile repeats the truth. Nothing said still keeps on ringing. I hear your voice inside the tires, rolling low along the pavement line. Every mile rewinds the wire, pulling quiet memories behind. Still that whisper rides the wheels, turning slow but never gone. All the miles refuse to heal. Every road keeps leading on. Coffee steam inside a roadside stop. Neon buzzing through the empty counter. Someone laughing far behind, like a story playing out of season. I watch trucks dissolve in distance haze. Tail life blinking impressions. Every face becomes a blur, but yours returns with perfect detail. Maybe truth was quiet then, hidden in the things unsaid. Every mile reminds again, some words never reach the air. I hear your voice inside the tires, rolling low and on the pavement line. Every mile rewires the wire, pulling quiet memories behind. Still the whisper rides the wheels, turning slow but never gone. All the miles refuse to heal. Every road keeps leading on. Begins to stain the eastern hills. Gray horizon slowly breathing open. Another town slides into view, like a scene I somehow lived already. Hand still steady on the wheel. The road feels strangely familiar. Every turn repeats a trace of the life I nearly answered. Maybe roads remember us, even when we travel silent. Every mile returns because some echoes stand goodbye. I hear your voice inside the tire, rolling low along a pavement line. Every mile rewires the wire, pulling quiet memories behind. Still that whisper rides the wheels, turning slow but never gone. All the miles refuse to heal. Every road keeps leading on. The lake keeps folding quiet silver pages, moonlight drifting through the sleeping reeds. A single bird redraws the empty sky with wings that whisper ancient stories. The shoreline listens without moving, like a clock that forgot the hours. Your memory floats across the water, soft as breath inside a lantern. Fireflies wander through the grasses, riding gold across the air. None of them remember faces, still they glow as if they care. Your name falls slowly through the evening, like a feather made of light. Every ripple learns to carry pieces of the quiet night. If the sky could keep a secret, like the lake beneath the blue, all its silent constellations would be whispering of you. Summer insects stitch the darkness with invisible silver thread. Lanterns drift along the water where the fading daylight bled. We were younger than the river, running restless through the fields. Every silence held a promise only open hearts could feel. Time became a quiet current, turning slow copies of the past we used to trade. Somewhere in my drifting starlight, all I bet is summer shine, like forgotten glass bottles sleeping under shifting tides. Every year becomes a lantern floating slowly out to sea, and the waves keep all the stories that the wind once told to me. Dawn begins to rinse the darkness with a pale and patient hand. Birds rehearse their fragile music over water bright as bad. See if the world forgets our footsteps, still the tide will recognize how two shadows cross the shoreline. Once beneath forgiving skies, nothing truly fades the silence. Every wave repeats a line hidden in the breathing rhythm of the slowly turning tide. Let the night release its fireflies to the open fields of air. Let the water hold the echo, never the words we couldn't share. If tomorrow steals the footprints from the quiet silver sands, still the lake will keep our story written softly in its hand. Curtain stuck in the motel vent, wind plays chords you never meant. Alarm clock bent through your last breath, digital hum, synthetic death. Shoes still face the exit sign, but you move slow just out of line. Key card bent, the door stayed locked. I waited still as circuits talked. You left behind a glitch and grin, and breath is funk I won't unpin. Even ghost tap in the groove, I hear you in each rhythmic move, but never full, never direct, just fragments in the disconnect. Till circuits sleep, you dreaming cold. I want your pulse, no fix to road. Your voice refracts inside the beat, fading in and clean delete. And I don't knock, I just replay the parts of you that looped and frayed. Water stain on the window light reveals your outline every night. Guitar pluck cuts like a second guess. I lean too far and confess this. You once spoke in a sidechain swell. Now all I get is that hollow shell. Chips in paint where your name once hit. The wall hums back like it still won't quit. You coded silence like a map. Wrote goodbyes and drum machine clap. Your rhythm stayed, your form withdrew, but every groove still aims for you. Even the bass line knows your weight, so I replay what won't translate. Till circuits sleeping, I ride that lane. My echo plays your voice in chain. No chorus lands the way it should. It breaks where you once stood. Still I glide between the grid, chasing the part of you you hear. Sing trips, bounce like a drop in time. It snaps me back into your rhyme. Closet door won't close all the way. It used to hum through every sway. Bed's not made, but the shake still holds. Funk runs dry where the air transpose. No message left, just a reverb bloom. My solo now a no don't return. You just rerun like final heat beneath the sun. Each step I take is mapped and looped by silence perfectly produced. I lost your name, kept towards decay. Chorus tracks the long way. If I get too slow through beats that fold up but too show, I turn the rhythm with the rest and sleep inside your fading text. A single bar that won't release, where even funk can't find its peace. Remote clicks once, the scroll stays black, but your reflection still flashes back. A soda fizz, a healing slide. The boogie helper left the guide. Elevator dings with no one near. I'm out, can name and shift the gear. Falsetto low through a reverb drag. Still tracing steps, I'm never tag. You hot where metronomes collapse. And empty balls and overdubbed gads. You never sang but left the key. And every chord still calls to me. I groove alone, still holding pitch inside your glitch inside your clay circuit sweet where light can fade. Echo belt and disobeyed. I ride to drop, don't feel the land. The ghosting from the static hand. Or would I end? You just repeat a loop to one, but far too sweet. Buzz of the fridge cuts through the hum. Ceiling fan ticks like a distant drum. Lobby clock leans, hands don't move. I wipe your name off the room key groove. Plastic cup with a lipstick rim. Same old bed, but the lights are dim. Your voice loops soft in the bathroom tile. I hum along and wait a while. You left an echo, not in sound. No suitcase dragged across the ground. Just a sift of static smoke. And words we lost before we spoke. Even silence took your side. And still I check the 405. Vaporland Motel, no checkout time. Where the floor creaks soft and the bell don't chime. I hear you breathing through the wall. A ghost too light to ever fall. Room 7 flickers like your name. And I book it nightly, just the same. Ice machine coughs behind the door. I tiptoe lines across the floor. Mini fridge hums in a minor key. And the blind still holds your shape for me. TV glows with a hiss of blue. I keep the volume low like you. Even the air feels secondhand. Like everything here was left unplanned. You spoke like lip card in the air. Whisper soft as folding chairs. I waited loud, but you replied in dusty chords, half amplified. Still your time and haunts the glass. A rhythm pulled but never passed. Vaporland Motel, no checkout time. Where the groove don't hit, but the air feels prime. Away your silence like a thread. Stitched between what wasn't said. Remote still stuck on channel breeze. Where I'll rewind you into me. Ashtray goes from a Euro flame. Phone you blinks once, then forget your name. You never packed, you never stayed. Just left your tempo where we played. Bathroom Moonlight buzzes in the halftime sway. I dance along, you drift away. Even my voice won't fully land. Just rise to folk in second hand. You never left, just stopped the frame. Held your breath and left the game. No beat drop, no final cue. Just a muted solo slipping through. And in that place you used to speak, the funk loops on, but stays oblique. Chasing shadows in your wings, can fade but never quite collide. A groove suspended in his lap. So land clicks, cracks in the broken code. I drawn your name down the exit road. The plate forgot we checked him twice, but the funk remembers every slice. Room still smells like phantom rain. A hook you left inside my brain falls that all floats where your feet once slid, but the chorus is where nothing did. If distance had a sound, is this a half step late, a perfect miss? You wrote the beat then disappear, but lift your echo engineered. Now rhythm's all I get from you, compressed and loose, but never true. Paper limo motel, old stays flat, like a vacant one, but never scratch. I stay on beat, I stay too long in the place where you went wrong. The funk don't stop, the bass won't bend, but I still wait for your band. Wooden porch on the bare feet, evening air still warm. Jemmy calling from the yard, heartbeat taking phone. Neighbors leaning on the rail, clapping on the tube. Dust rising with the groove, simple and true. Talking drum across the block, answering my chest. Every strike upon the skin wakes what never rests. Let the djembe roll tonight. Hands in open conversation, low and walking firm tight. Built on repetition, let the rhythm bust the ground. Feet don't need permission, age is just a deeper sound. Rooted in tradition. Call and answer through the dark, voices short and sweet. Shake a whisper in my left, bass line in my feet. No spotlight, no grand stage, just a circle wide. Wrinkles catching amber glow, nothing here to hide. Palm to skin and back again, pulse becomes command. Every year inside my bones, moving hand to hand. Let the djembe rolls and die. Hands in open conversation, low and walking firm and tight. Built on repetition, let the rhythm dust the ground. Feet don't need permission, age is just a deeper sound. Rooted in tradition. Granddaughter with braided hair, stomping just off beat. I adjust my clapping hands, guide her to the street. Not with lectures, not with rules, but with syncopation. Life is time and more than speed, shared participation. Breathe with the circle wide, let the night expand. Every drummer's second spine, holding up the band. Let the djembe roll tonight, hands in open conversation. Fluid, walking firm and tight, built on repetition. Let the rhythm nest the ground. Woo, feet don't need permission. Age is just a deeper sound, rooted in tradition. You asked me once what life would be, how the years might treat a man. I started speaking carefully, like I had a master plan. But halfway through the sentence there, I paused and let it fall. Truth was standing in the room, I don't know it all. Years can show a thing or two, but they never show the full view. Pieces only come in part, hard to hard. So here's my almost advice. Take your chances once or twice. Life won't follow any chart you draw at the start. I believe in tidy lines, paths that led to certain ends. But the road was never neat, turns were made without consent. Some mistakes became my guide, some success just slipped away. Still the days kept moving on anyway. Every story I could tell leaves another one as well. Truth is wider than a claim or a name. So here's my almost advice. Take your chances once or twice. Life won't follow any chart you draw at the start. If there's one thing I have learned, it's to loosen up the hold. The clans can guide a step or two, but they never control. Walk your road and watch it change. Let the lessons come in time. You will see what I mean. Further down the line, every life becomes its own. Different seeds already sown, grown in ways we cannot chart from the start. So here's my almost advice. Take your chances once or twice. Life will follow any child you draw at the start. I heard heard the words 1,000 times from people older in their lines. They said the years will make it clear what seems confusing now and here. I nodded like I understood, like every young man thinks he should, but meaning moved beyond my sight, out of mind. Truth was waiting down the lane, past the pride and past the claim, growing slowly out of view, year by year. Understanding came in slow, not the way I used to know. Piece by piece, the picture grew, without asking me to. Some ideas I held too tight turned out smaller in the light. Some I once ignored completely, later stood there quietly. Every answer changed its shape through the choices that I made. Nothing sudden, nothing loud, just a cloud. Looking back, the path appears hidden underneath the years, lessons forming out of you without cue. Understanding came in slow, not the way I used to know. Piece by piece, the picture grew, without asking me to. Now I hear those words again from a younger voice like Ben, asking how the road will bend, where the waiting answers end. I begin a careful line, then I stop before a sign, knowing time will show them to what is true. Every life must walk it, no one has a final view. Clarity will come along in its time. Understanding came in slow, not the way I used to know. Piece by piece, the picture grew, without asking me to. Your shoes still wait by the doorway, toes pointed slightly inside, like you just stepped out for a moment, not something you try to hide. The dust settled slow around them, but never quite on the lace, as if it knows they are listening for your returning trace. I pass by but I don't move them, leave them where they used to be, like they're holding on to something that slipped away from me. Your shoes still think you're coming back. I don't have the heart to tell them. Every day they face the door, like they're waiting there as well. There's a crease along the leather, from the way you used to walk. And the floor still knows the pattern of your quiet, careful steps. I almost hear you in the hallway. When the night gets thin, it's still. But it's just the hours remembering. But I never will. Your shoes still think you're coming back. I don't have the heart to tell them. Every day they face the door, like they're waiting there as well. But it doesn't move a thing. Even time avoids this corner, like it won't disturb his scene. I stand there longer than I should now, but I never reach my hand. Some goodbyes don't meet an answer understood. If I shift them, it feels real, like accepting what I feel. So I leave them at their are, where your last footsteps still are. Your shoes still think you're coming back. Tell them every day they face the door, like they're waiting there as well. Spent my years in careful speed, chasing every shining lid. Thought the answer waited there, somewhere past another stair. Every plane was built to climb higher marks and better time. Never stopped to understand what was close at hand. I tried to win, cover quiet things within. Simple truths I couldn't hear, standing near. It's a late realization now, somehow clearer than before. What I searched for far away was already at my door. Longer roads and louder days filled the pages of my ways. Still the meaning stayed unclear, even as the end drew near. Conversations left too fast, moments never meant to last. Only later did they show more than I could know. Looking through the passing years, value shows in smaller gears, turning slow and quietly. Next to me, it's a late realization now, somehow clearer than before. What spaces set aside, less to crew and less to hide. Every morning feels more plain, but it carries deeper gain. Things I once would overlook now deserve a second look. Understanding growing slow, more than years ago. Not a lesson loudly told, just a truth that came with old time, revealing what was near. Always delay, realization now. Ooh, somehow clearer than before. But I search for far away. Was already at my door. Old taxi headlights crawling through the avenue. A tired radio murmurs like it knows my name. Coins in my pocket keep a nervous rhythm. Someone upstairs dragging chairs across the floor. The city hums low like a broken refrigerator. I spin that record just to hear the needle breathe. Dust dances slow in the inner hallway bold. Tonight the room remembers more than me. Footsteps pacing circles on the hardwood line. Every memory tapping on the blast. Nothing loud, just quiet pressure growing, like a clock that forgot how to rest. Tell me what the record never said. Tell me what the silence understands. Spinning stories underneath the needle. Slow confession turning in my hand. Late bus breaks side somewhere down the block. Street vendors folding tables in the dark. A hallway neighbor humming old church melodies. Keys dropping careless on the kitchen tile. The bass now walks like it owns the pavement. Timbre skins whisper in the air. I watch the ceiling fan draw lazy circles. Every spin pretending you were there. Footsteps pacing circles on the hardwood line. Every memory tapping on the glass. Just quiet pressure growing, like a clock that forgot how to rest. Tell me what the record never said. Oh, tell me what the silence understands. Spinning stories underneath the needle. Slow confession turning in my hand. Morning trains whisper under the river. Newspaper trucks roll through the gray. Coffee steam crimes like a patient ghost. The rule keeps walking anyway. No big drama in this quiet apartment. Does ribbon leaning on the wall. If truth is hiding in the static spaces, maybe the turntable heard it all. Footsteps pacing circles on the hardwood line. Every memory tapping on the glass. party pressure growing like a clock that forgot how to rest. Tell me what the record never said.